everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we are going to have a class from Homes on Wheels Alliance at the virtual RTR 2021. And so I think you're going to really enjoy it. And with me is Sue Ann Carlson, the executive director of Homes on Wheels Alliance, who did an awful lot of the work, amazing amount of work, on putting this all together. So, Sue Ann, tell us about a little bit about what's going on here.
So from January 14th to January 21st, 2021, we have online RTR and women's RTR classes that will be offered on the Homes on Wheels Alliance YouTube channel. But what we're doing is we're taking those and doing a condensed version of them and moving them over to the Cheap RV Living YouTube channel. And that's what you're watching here.
So this is a monetized channel, but all the money that you make by watching the videos, you're going to make me money by watching the videos, all of that money will be forwarded to, from now on and forever, will be forwarded to Homes on Wheels Alliance. So I'm not making any money on this. It will be a contribution to Homes on Wheels Alliance. Now, because this is a condensed version, there's a whole version on the Homes on Wheels Alliance YouTube channel. And if you go there, you'll see the whole thing, including questions and answers afterwards. So while this is condensed, you can see the whole thing by going to Homes on Wheels Alliance. And how will they find that?
In your YouTube channel search bar, type in Homes on Wheels Alliance, and it will come up.
So once you go to the channel, or this channel, Cheap RV Living, there will be a playlist that says RTR, Virtual RTR 2021. And so you can see all the classes there in order and see them all at once. So next we're going to play the video of the class, and I hope you enjoy it and learn a lot from it, and we'll see you at the end of the video.
My name is Sue Ann Carlson, and I'm the Executive Director from Homes on Wheels Alliance, otherwise known as HOWA, which is our acronym, HOWA. And I want to welcome you to the 11th annual RTR. And this year our classes are online. So glad to have you here. Right now, our topic is basic safety on the road. And I would like to introduce you to Dawn Harkness, our speaker. Dawn is a retired attorney from Massachusetts. She is a full-time nomad. She's been on the road for 2 years and lives out of a ProMaster that she built out herself. So with that, Dawn, please take the floor. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
So I'm going to speak today about personal safety on the road. Most of my talk is going to be about the challenges facing solo nomads. And that's because everybody knows that the buddy system and traveling in formal or informal caravans is really the safest way to travel. Because if something goes wrong, it's good to be traveling with folks you can rely on. Sometimes, by choice or by circumstance, we have to travel alone, and our safety precautions may have to adjust to that. This class is also going to be directed a little bit more towards a solo woman's perspective because, well, that's what I know best. We won't be talking much about guns and weapons today. If you travel with a gun or a weapon of any kind, please make sure you know how to use it safely, effectively, and legally. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say on this topic. And I think the number one question solo women travelers and van dwellers get about life on the road is, aren't you scared? For me, the answer is a resounding no. I actually feel less vulnerable in a van than I do in a sticks and bricks home. And I've lived in some very nice homes in some very nice neighborhoods. My van home is a lockable steel box on wheels. In van life, again, I'm going to keep saying that. You don't like your neighborhood, you feel uncomfortable, you just leave, find a safer place. I want to make sure that everybody knows it's very important to operate your rig and know how to operate all the components of your rig so you don't have to depend on the kindness of strangers. Like, for example, can you take your trailer on and off your vehicle? Do you know how to change a tire? Do you know if you even have a spare tire? My advice, take your rig out for lots of practice runs before you hit the road long term. Stay overnight in your rig, in your driveway or a parking lot. A few months ago, I was camping in Arizona, and a woman told me about a horrible situation she found herself in while she was traveling with a travel trailer. It was the first time she had been camping without her former husband. She'd rolled onto BLM land, found a nice place to park. She had very spotty self-service when she got there, but she wasn't worried about it. She didn't want to talk to anybody anyway. She tried to unhitch her trailer from her vehicle, but she couldn't do it. She was having quite a bit of trouble. So she ended up approaching an older guy who was camped nearby by himself. He happily agreed to take the trailer off the hitch for her. And then he said, if you'll have sex with me, I'll help you put it back on. While later, she went to start her car and she found that the battery was dead. She went to go use her cell phone to call for assistance, but her phone had died too. What a mess to find yourself in, right? And none of it would have happened if she'd known how to operate her trailer hitch. Your cell phone. Most important tool you have, I think, in accessing safety and assistance. It can tell you where you are. It can send your location out to people who you might have tracking you, which I also think is a good idea. You need to have a charger. Here's my cord. The ABCs of RVing life is always be charging. You're also going to want to make sure you have first aid kit. If you have a safety kit, if you get hurt, so you can stop bleeding, some basic minimal first aid stuff. A shovel. I like the big shovel. There are fold-up shovels. The big shovel is the thing that would reach all the way underneath the van where my van was stuck. Another thing that's very helpful to help and to get is traction pads. If you're by yourself, you need to be able to get out. But if somebody comes to help you, you might need to have the equipment like a tow strap. Batteries die, accidents happen, people, leave their lights on. But if you have a dead battery in the desert, you are not going to be able to get out. You won't be able to turn your lights on. It'll be a very uncomfortable experience. The ability to charge your own battery, even if you get assistance from somebody else, they don't have to get in your vehicle. You have more control over that. You always want to carry a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers are great for fires. They are also good for self-defense. You can spray one of these in somebody's face just as easily as you can. And make sure you always have water. Not having water is going to make you dependent on other people again. Having water buys you a little more time, even if you have to walk someplace. I think one of the most important things to have, especially for people who are dwelling in cars or in vans, is a way to pee in your van at night. You're alone, you're in your car, you're wanting to use that public toilet, but by going outside your vehicle, you're now exposing the fact that you are single, a woman, and you're going to go inside a building and your van's going to be empty. And so you're vulnerable that way. I highly recommend the plastic bottle with wide mouth jar tops. Use the containers that have the hand grips because it is much harder to hold it this way than it is to hold it this way. What is the most important thing to have? In my opinion, it's a very good cell signal. With a cell phone, you can make call for help. You can look something up on your cell phone about how to solve the problem you're in. You can send it, it's a GPS locator for people who may be tracking you. You can take a picture of the parking lot that you're in, text that to somebody, and you'll have geolocating on the picture. We don't realize that an emergency can happen and just so quickly. I had met some vegans actually, and the vegans were going to be having a campfire pretty far away. I told them, no, I'm not going to join everybody for the camp tonight. Have a good night. I'm going to go be back in my rig. Went for a walk. I jumped off a rock and I broke my leg. I just jumped and I fell, landed very badly, and I shattered my leg, sat on my butt, looked down at my leg, which is at this kind of an angle, and realized I didn't have my cell phone. Nobody knew where I was. I was scared, actually, to be honest. And I started hollering and hollering and hollering, probably for a good 20 minutes before, fortunately, somebody heard me, was able to come and get me rescued. If they hadn't rescued me, I really don't know what would have happened. I think it could have ended very, very badly. So how you set your camp up when you get to your campsite also can contribute a lot to your safety. I like to face my van forward towards my exit. I don't want to be boxed in any way, shape, or form. Trouble coming, I want to be able to get out. I don't want to have to be doing 3-point turns and trying to inch my way out of there. Always lock your doors and remove your keys from the ignition. If you have a designated spot where your keys are going to be, that will help you stay safe. Locking your doors is one of the most important, simplest steps you can take to save your life. If they can't get in, you can still drive away. Take account of your surroundings. Does it look okay? Is there anybody around? Who's around? Like I said, take a picture of the parking lot. Maybe one's for your memories so that you can remember where you've been, and one in case you need to know, let folks know where you are and who was there when you got there. Put your privacy curtains up. Nobody needs to know how many people are in your van. In fact, a lot of people will put their privacy curtains up before they go to the rest stop that they're going to stop at, so that when they get to their parking spot, all they have to do is take out the keys, lock the door, make sure the windows are up, get in the back, drop the privacy curtain, and then nobody will know. If you're alone, do you have a dog? Do you have 5 sons with you? Who knows what you got? Keep your driver's seat clear. And this is for things like, especially, if you're overnighting in a rest area, you want to make sure you're going to be able to get into your seat. You're not when you're alone. Keep all valuables out of sight and out of your cab area. Most criminals are lazy and opportunistic. Make sure your Wi-Fi hotspot doesn't out you as a single solo woman traveler. Desert Princess or Mommy's Van. Change it to something like Desert Badass or Roadrunner Van. Say you've done everything right. You've found a place that you feel comfortable. You've done all your practice. You got your safety gear. You've done everything. You may still have to move in the middle of the night. You're parked someplace, somebody pulls up closer, starts a big party, and they decide to park right next to you, and a fight breaks out, in the van or in the car, or just, whatever. People walk through and are angry in a Walmart parking lot. Always trust your gut. And women, I want to say this again and again, because so many of us have been raised to ignore that little voice or to push it down. Don't make a big deal of that. Oh, they're not really meaning to scare you. Oh, I'm just too nervous. It's me. It's not them. It doesn't matter if it's a campground, a parking lot, a street. If it doesn't feel safe, it's time to go. And don't worry too much if you're making a big deal about anything. They don't know you. It doesn't matter. You're going to drive on. You're going to go. If you don't leave when you get that feeling, I also guarantee you, you're not going to be able to sleep. You might as well just get in the driver's seat and go to a place that you can sleep. Years and years ago, I had a little Class C Toyota Mini Cruiser. Oh, my word, adorable. I was on the road. I needed to pull into a parking lot. It was at a small park. I needed some sleep. I thought, this thing pretty good. There were some people in there, but I decided I'll just go to the other end of the parking lot. Slipped into the back, dropped the privacy curtains, locked the door, put up the windows, did all my little list. Hadn't been asleep for very long before I heard a very tentative knock on the window. It might be a cop, but it doesn't sound like a cop. I don't think I'm going to say anything. So I didn't. And then a couple minutes later, I go, didn't sound like a cop, but why are they knocking? I decided to just kind of peep out my little peephole. There was a very tall woman in a dress, and when she saw me kind of looking around, all I heard was, "Do you want a date?" And turns out it was a sex worker, and I had unknowingly ended up in the middle of a parking lot which was very known for cruising for sex workers. I didn't think I was in any real danger, but the whole thing felt weird. Am I the only person in this parking lot engaged in a criminal activity? Are they going to think I'm spying on them? I think I'm a cop. I didn't want to one thing I knew is if I stayed there, I was not going to get any sleep. I just wasn't. There's almost always a McDonald's, a Walmart, a Cabela's, a 24-hour business that has a lit parking lot that you can get some sleep in. It may not be the quietest place. It might not, but it will probably have security cameras. I was camping with a friend in San Diego. We were both in our vans, and about 11 p.m., I heard what I thought was a barrage of firecrackers right near our van. I was a little too blasé about it. And when my friend called to say, "Did you hear that? It sounded like gunshots." I was like, yeah. Somebody called the police, fortunately, and they descended on the park, made everyone move along. Another YouTuber had put out a video. They had been parked a couple vans behind us. It had been gunshots that had gone off, and his van had actually been hit, and the bullet was inside his van. We were all too blasé about the partying that was getting rowdy. We were too blasé about the elevated voices. We were too blasé about everything in that situation. I don't know why we were. It just was like taking a break from safety. Never, 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 never get high or drunk with people you don't know. People put themselves in some very difficult situations by getting too drunk, too high, and putting themselves in danger. Bring your own drinks. Always recommend that. Bring your own drinks to a party. It's a very nomad way. Drugs and alcohol are one of the easiest ways to let down your guard, and there will be people who will take advantage of your incapacitation. Lastly, understand you don't know anyone, any explanation of why you're traveling alone, what your name is, where you're from, where you're going, what the insides of your rig look like, or anything else for that matter. You don't have to tell anybody anything. No is a complete sentence. I haven't said much about gadgets because frankly, you can buy a lot of gadgets that are very expensive that will increase your security. The two I recommend, though, which are not particularly expensive, are solar-powered motion detector lights that you can attach to the outside of your van. I also highly recommend a hand alarm. Criminals do not like light that comes on with motion detectors. Another thing they don't like is this. A handheld alarm that you can set off. People have them on their key fobs. If you're posting on social media, I do it as well. But when I'm camping alone, I never post where I am now. I always post where I was yesterday. That's just in case if somebody who didn't like some case I had in the past, or maybe doesn't like me for some reason, doesn't necessarily know where I am and where I could be found, especially if I'm looking for privacy. I love social media, but consider not showing your actual location. Don't think of this as kind of a restriction on your freedoms. Think about these as the reasonable, smart steps that we take so that we get to continue to live this amazing, adventurous life.
That was some very good teaching. I think you got a lot out of it. But this was a condensed version. So to see the entire thing, including questions and answers, where do they need to go?
You can go to the Homes on Wheels Alliance YouTube channel. In your search bar, just type in Homes on Wheels Alliance and it'll come up.
And once there will be a playlist there of all the RTR videos in their entire length. So there'll be a lot more info there than this condensed version. Well, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.